Fellow travelers, welcome to the Dialogues Within. These are dialogues with myself, conversations with my friends. But most important of all, these dialogues with myself and conversations are honest and steeped in truth. Fellow travelers and friends, I am sitting in magical Meraki. This is a place tucked in CGO complex at the force headquarters of the Central Industrial Security Force. It is an oasis in a concrete jungle. This beautiful Meraki is in itself a divine blessing to this place. The word Meraki is a Greek word. It means doing something with your soul, creatively, and also with love. When you give your complete self to something, that is Meraki. Though the name of this place is Greek, but the concept of this place is Japanese. When you enter this place of the CISF, you go through a Torii gate. A Torii gate in Japanese actually divides the mundane world, the executive world, with the sacred. So, as you enter through this gate, from the executive side of the CISF, you enter the sacred side, the philosophical side of CISF. This place has all the elements of Japanese garden, like two cherry blossom trees. Then it's got two pagodas. It's got running water. It's got three rocks: the father rock, the mother rock, and the child rock. Together, the whole concept is Japanese, evokes a lot of calmness, beauty, and perhaps also the philosophy of the Central Industrial Security Force that do things with love, with your complete self. The force, besides being an honest force, which does service in the spirit of Vinamrata evam dranata, also does things creatively and with complete self. Meraki evokes a feeling that you are in a garden. Friends, recently I went to a panel discussion about gardens. It was a very interesting conversation there about niche gardens. Niche gardens which people have on their rooftops, balconies, and such things, mainly urban areas. Gardens like you have cacti and succulents, you have rose gardens, or you have gardens which are made of bulbs, and you could have gardens which are rock gardens, various types of gardens were there. And in that discussion, my mind went back to my childhood and also to something which I had written a few years back in the speaking tree column. The heading was Running Meditation in Motion. You know, friends, when I was a small child, we used to live in a cottage in Allahabad. It was an old cottage. On the backyard, there was a small, courtyard which went into a kitchen garden, and then huge trees, the wilderness, and beyond the trees, the big trees, chilbel trees, peepal tree, neem tree, and beyond that there was a pond. In fact, when I was a small child, at night we could hear jackals who used to come to the pond to drink water. And that was the place, the first garden where I played. I chased the butterflies, watched the chameleons. And those chameleons were beautiful, by the way, not like the chameleons which exist in the society nowadays. Those are beautiful chameleons. And also, I was able to pluck a guava tree, or we could pluck a custard apple and have it there in the garden itself. And in this speaking tree column, which I wrote about running, meditation, and motion, what I wrote was that when I was a child, I used to chase butterflies. And when I grew up, I started chasing my dreams. Dreams which every young man chases, dreams to earn a livelihood, dreams to recognize, dreams to fulfill your potentials, desires. And I kept running all through. And then life, like it hits everyone, it hit me. And I fell down. And when I fell down, an ace runner picked me up. Again, the clouds cleared, the sun appeared, and I started chasing the butterflies all over again. And childlike running in a garden became a norm. When they were talking about the niche gardens, what I was thinking about was the garden within, the garden, the real garden where I used to run like a child. Well, I still run. I run in Nehru Park very regularly, sometimes in Lodi Garden too. And I have named trees. I talk to them when I run. And sometimes I feel they reply back as well. It's an interesting way to be part of nature. And then, while I was going through these thoughts after the panel discussion, I came home and we were having tea at home and generally having a discussion with Damani and Yash and Aparna. So we were talking, what is nature? What is the characteristic of nature? Is it a malevolent force? Or is it a benevolent force? Or is it a neutral force? Or does nature live by its own rules all the time? But then what emerged as consensus was that nature is everything manifest in this world. Everything which manifests in this world is nature. So if that is the definition, then we too are nature. And the gardens which we create in life are the gardens which have manifested within us first. That was the thought of nature. Nature is distinct from environment. In fact, fellow travelers and friends, every environment day, I receive one message which sticks with me. It's a common message. I'm very sure many of you would have also received it. I don't remember the exact words. It's something like, कुछ तो होगा इन दरख्तों में कि इनके नीचे जो बैठता है कोई बुद्ध या कोई न्यूटन बन जाता है. Beautiful message which speaks about the beauty of tree, the calmness, the clarity of mind, and the insights which you get when connected with them. And then the thought came that how the gardens came about. Well, I think the first interface of human beings with nature was in the form of agriculture, to grow things. And even now, in villages, you really don't have any gardens. Maybe marigold plants are planted, those flowers used for prayers in local temple or at home or such things, or some commercial plantations of flowers. But garden in the sense goes by the name bagicha in villages, which is usually a fruit garden. And a very wholesome garden, a complete ecosystem exists in the villages. And from this, the thought emerges that these curated gardens on the balconies, rooftops, are they the product of urbanization? Perhaps they are. Though I'm not sure about it, but perhaps they are. In fact, this reminds me that when I first came to Delhi, and that was somewhere in 1992, so much of construction was not there, but still, In my office, there was a housing society. The seniors were going for a meeting in that. I also tagged along. Everyone was saying, I want the east side facing apartment and this side facing apartment. And I was feeling, why so much of, chaos? Every apartment is the same design. Then I asked one of my seniors, why this, that you specifically want this? He said something very interesting. He said, भाई इस दुनिया में आजकल ज़मीन तो मिलती नहीं, ऐसी बालकनी मिल जाए कि आसमान तो मुकम्मल हो जाए. तो परहैप्स जो लोग बालकनीज में गार्डन बनाते हैं या रूफ पे गार्डन बनाते हैं, दे गिव अर्थ in an urban area where perhaps there is even scarcity of having a sky as a view. But then, friends, there are gardens which are eternal. After all, I go for a run in Nehru Park, Lodi Garden, or I have been to gardens internationally too, or those beautiful gardens in Srinagar, the Nishat Bagh, the Shalimar Bagh, the Chashmeshai. Why are these gardens eternal? Well, perhaps they are eternal because they are open to public. They are open to everyone. When a garden is open to everyone, then it's eternal. And if one manifests one's own self as a garden and opens it to public, perhaps that person too will become eternal. But friends and fellow travelers, we need to do two things for our internal garden. Most of you know that I'm a cop by profession and I'm talking about gardening. But cops and gardeners, cops and farmers have one thing in common, something which is not usually discussed, that is de-weeding, removing the weeds. That's very essential in gardening or in farming. And that's very essential or the job of the police, the cops. We de-weed the bad eggs in the society. We catch them and put them in jails. So that society itself is a beautiful garden. And second thing important for gardening is watering. You have to water the plants. So friends, fellow travelers, keep de-weeding negative thoughts within you. Keep watering the positive thoughts within you. May your internal gardens bloom and they manifest themselves in this outside world. Smiles and cheers to you. Goodbye for now.